are many ways to thank our veterans. We show ours by hiring them.
Now that's a Commissionaires spot. There's also a video being played in movie theaters and has been for the last week regarding the Commissionaires and veterans. Doug Briscoe is here, the Executive Director of the Commissionaires. Thanks for coming in today.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here, Kurt.
That's a beautiful PSA that is running on television and so on, but there's another lengthy film, right, a short film, that's being shown in movie theaters?
That's correct. It's that clip, actually. It's a 30-second clip, and
Gotcha.
It's shown in 5 or 10 minutes before each film is shown.
Nice.
And all the 123 Cineplex Odeons across the country. So
isn't that nice?
Great take-up.
Good. I'm going to get a chance to see that again tomorrow. First of all, Doug, I want to let people know what exactly the Commissionaires do, who they are, and the fact that you were telling me some things I did not know, and the Commissionaires are actually one of the largest employers here in Ottawa?
That's correct. You know, we're many people think, first of all, that we're a government agency, and we're actually a not-for-profit, a Canadian not-for-profit company. Our mandate, our social mandate, is to provide meaningful employment for veterans of the Canadian Forces and the RCMP.
Right.
We're about 20,000 across the country, and that's divided into 16 divisions. And our largest division is here in Ottawa.
Right.
It's about 3,800 employees,
Yeah.
3,800 commissionaires.
Yeah, and you do a lot of different things. I mean, you're employing, veterans and so on and so forth, but you're also interested in their transition and their welfare after the fact.
Yes, that's correct. We do provide mostly in the security guarding sector, but we do other work like bylaw enforcement. But I think the real value of our organization is enabling veterans to transition from a life in the military
Yes.
to the civilian workforce, and that's not easy.
No.
A lot of these folks have had nothing but a military career, so they have no exposure to the civilian workplace. They're not quite sure how to take their military skills, which are very impressive, but to translate that into civilian occupation.
No matter how length of time they're in the military, it seems. It can be a difficult thing to do. You've recently taken a look at a national survey. Now, was this done by the Commissionaires, this survey?
Yes, it was. Via Nanos. Done it. This is the third time we've done it. We did it in 2008 and 2009.
Right.
And again this year. And the reason we do it is to gauge what the public sentiment is. How do Canadians feel about their veterans? And how do they feel about how they're treated?
Some of the numbers are overwhelming. For example, 90% of Canadians believe that we should honor all veterans on Remembrance Day, regardless of where and when they serve. So the focus has kind of shifted from the First and Second World War, the Korean conflict, to more recent things that our military has been involved in.
Yes, and I think that's really quite appropriate because we have about 120,000 World War II and Korea veterans still alive, but there's over 600,000 now modern-day veterans. Those are veterans that have joined the forces, served their country since the Korean War.
Yeah. 43% Canadians believe that today's veterans have a more difficult time making the transition to civilian life compared to veterans in the past. What do you make of that number?
It's very interesting because when we were first formed in 1925, the same sort of economic conditions prevail as they do today. It's difficult, I think, and I think people recognize that with the change in the workforce in our country, the change in employment opportunities, it does make it difficult. And then even more difficult is the fact that they have no exposure to it. So this is their first entry into the civilian workforce.
Plus, since the days of the First and Second World War and other conflicts, we have come to discover post-traumatic distress disorder. We've come to understand that a little more. And we've come to recognize the implications of going to war and coming home and study them a little more closely, don't you think?
I think that's true, and I think we're much more aware of it, and I think it's an important thing that we've identified what that is. In the past, there were various terms for it, shell shock, etc., but people today understand a little bit more and probably are better able to assist veterans with that issue.
The one thing I'd like to see is more young people get involved and understand what this is all about. And sadly, because of conflicts that we've been involved in, there is that opportunity. Do you think we're doing a good job of that? And is that's something you'd like to see more of?
Well, I think our survey proved that Canadians do care.
Yes.
It is said that a country is measured by how it treats and supports its veterans. I think that survey shows that Canada and Canadians are supporting them. That survey indicated that they believe that the government has a responsibility in finding employment for them, and that's what we do. Commissionaires provides employment for veterans.
You're all ex-military. Where were you? What were you involved in?
I'm a retired Army officer.
Yeah, and you have a lot of nice medals and to show for it. Do you believe Remembrance Day should be a national holiday?
I think we need to take the time to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for us. Remembrance Day is about those individuals, those people who have served. Yeah. And I think the best way to ensure that is to have a national day of recognition.
I think you're right. Doug, we're out of time, but I appreciate yours, and I thank you for coming to see us. I also happen to think there shouldn't be any shopping or that sort of thing going on.